Do you have any? Are you hurt at any level?
No, I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt. I have no bitterness, because every political party has its own approach to a particular problem. She is, frankly speaking, entitled to hold her views, and as a candidate, I would like to appeal that as all other partners of UPA have supported me, and non-UPA partners, non-UPA parties have also supported me, and as she has not yet taken the decision, she told that she will take decision in course of time. She can extend her support, and I am appealing to her to extend support. And the very first day I did that. It is not that I have no bitterness. I have no bitterness, because she is so young. She is. I have seen her grow up before my eyes, yes. And whatever she has achieved, it is her own achievement. Yes. She is single-handedly fought, and she achieved whatever achievement she has obtained today.
I think it's very gracious of you to say that. And everyone wants to know what their president is going to be like. Can I say, make an observation, Mr. Mukherjee? Everyone knows you. You are very competent. You are outstandingly hardworking. That you sign files and you work at till about what, 1 o'clock in the morning almost. But many people would like to know, especially the younger generation, you know, certain episodes from your own 50 plus years in public life. Will you open up today, and can I take you through some of your? Will you open up today, because the name of the program is Frankly Speaking?
That's why I am also using that French.
I'm very happy.
French very frequently.
I'm very happy.
What I can say, that so far presidency of India is concerned, I must say that stalwarts of contemporary Indian political system adorned this post. Babu Rajendra Prasad was the first president, followed by Sir Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, Dr. Zakir Hussain, and these stalwarts who made substantial contribution in making what is known as modern India, who has given this modern India institutions like multi-party, functional democracy, brilliant constitution, different institutions to support the and strengthen the democratic system. In the initial stage, they adored this high office. There is very well laid out path for the President of the Republic. And all 13 presidents have followed that path, and it is well laid out. So I would like to follow the footsteps of the great stalwarts who adored this office. Therefore, I am not going into talking of the constitutional responsibility or this or that. As and when situation arises, the President takes action. Umpteen number of precedents are there, but let us not talk on these occasions.
I appreciate that. But I certainly completely agree with you, and I think that in terms of relevance today, one is the political relevance, Mr. Mukherjee, because we have, you know, very volatile political situation that we are in. The role of the President will be very watched. What you do will be watched and of great significance. Also, don't you think, because institutions in this country have, I wouldn't say come under attack, have come under doubt. The credibility of institutions is being questioned. You know, there are debates over it. Parliament, how it works, the relationship between Parliament and civil society, between elected and unelected representatives of the people. See, that too is very important. Before I go into your background, may I ask you, what are your views on the tension that's grown between our institutions and large sections of our own people, and between elected representatives and civil society?
First of all, I would like to start by saying that in democracy, sometimes we have to face the turbulent situation, difficult situation, volatility. It is not always that the system runs very smoothly. So there may be phases when there are challenges, there are problems, but democracy has its own way of resolving those problems and facing those challenges. Now we have raised certain important issues. Those issues are to be addressed by Indian democratic system. Relation between parliament vis-a-vis civil society, not vis-a-vis, it's a relation with the role of to determine the role of the civil society, functioning of the parliament, functioning of the other institutions like judiciary, institutions like public opinion institutions, other governmental institutions. Indian constitution has broadly, like many other constitutions, divided the governance power in three broad components: judiciary, executive, legislature. In our parliamentary system, executive is dependent on legislature. Therefore, they are very closely linked. Here, unlike other presidential system, legislation cannot be initiated by the legislature themselves. It is being initiated by the executive. But they have the final say of approval. They have the final say in the matter of legislations, in the matter of money and finance. That is the strength of the legislature. So legislature must function effectively. Now, sometimes people feel that because of the noisy scenes, disruptions of the houses, and sometimes I also feel disturbed that Parliament is meant for debate, discussion, not meant for disruption.
Yes.
And more than often I have told in my interaction with my colleagues that Parliament should not indulge in disruption. But at the same time, I must recognize this is one side of the picture. The other side of the picture is when we waste time in disruptions, we equally make it up. Because umpteen number of times I have seen, because as leader of the House, I have been in the presence of the House at very odd hours. Sometimes we discuss the issues, discuss the legislations up to 8:39, and Speaker at the end of every session gives a figure, very interesting, that how much time we have wasted and how much time, extra time we worked. So that is the thing. But I do feel we should work out a mechanism through which we could avoid disruption and use this time more effectively and fruitfully.
My question was, in another context, Mr. Mukherjee, a president who is being elected in the year 2012 becomes a president in a certain contemporary historical environment when institutions which you are going to now, when you become the president, and if you've noticed, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when you become the president, that you will be on top of those institutions. It may be what people want to know, what would you do as the president to restore the faith of the people of this country in all these institutions?
President is part of parliament. Indian parliament has three components. One component is president, another component is Rajya Sabha, another component is Lok Sabha. Therefore, president is part of Indian parliament. Apart from his address at the beginning of the first session of a new calendar year, or at the beginning of the first session, immediately after the general election, those are constitutional requirements. But the short point which I was trying to drive at, that these institutional functioning are to be restored, and that could be done through collective discussions, through sharing views, and therefore constant dialogue should be there. I just am going to tell one aspect of it that will speak of the strength of Indian parliamentary system and how the opposition and ruling parties can behave. Recently I had the problem of introduction of PFRDA bill. PFRDA bill was strongly opposed by left parties, so when they were part of the coalition, we could not introduce it. This time also they were opposing even at the introduction stage. I was appealing to them that let us introduce it, let it go to the Parliamentary Standing Committee, let us debate it, and thereafter we will have the, you will express your views, you will oppose it at the stage of the passage. Don't oppose at the stage of introduction, because normally at the stage of introduction a bill introduction is opposed on the legislative competence, whether Parliament has the competence to pass the law. Somehow it did not click them, they did not agree, but here principal opposition parties came and with their support bill was introduced. That does not mean that the left will withdraw their opposition or others will withdraw their opposition. But we have achieved the objective that it is being referred to the standing committee is discussing, and after that it will come.
So from what I understand, that you believe consensus is extremely important.
It will have to be.
First president, I would say, since Rajendra Prasad, to have the kind of political clout that you do, the political experience, the acumen and the ability, I think that a lot of people will look forward to your being a figure of consensus. Mr. Mukherjee, it's